Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful Friday morning. It is getting really cold here in Vermont. It's only going to get worse before it gets better in the spring. So today, I actually want to talk about warming up as an equestrian. So us equestrians are notorious for taking better care of our horses than ourselves. And one of the things that, and I'm as guilty of this as anyone else. We worry about our horses being ready to do things, and we warm them up, and we're very careful with them, to make sure they don't get hurt and all that, as we should. But we don't take the same consideration for ourselves. We like to say that riding horses is a sport just like any other sport, and it is. You need to be reasonably athletic especially if you compete in any equestrian sports. But one thing that I've noticed being, around barns and with equestrians and being one myself, is that we don't act like we're athletes. I don't know of any other sport where, someone would just go in and start playing without actually doing something first to get themselves warmed up, and properly prepared to do their sport. And like I said, I'm as guilty of this as anyone else. And I think part of it is that when we're with our horses, we kind of forget about ourselves. We kind of forget about everything else. And we go in, we tack up. We're just more concerned about how they're feeling and what they, look like, and checking their legs to make sure everything's okay and all of this and blah, blah, blah. And then we forget that, our horses are athletes and we're athletes as well. And we need to warm our bodies up before we get on and start doing stuff. So I'm going to give you a quick little warm up that you can do at the barn or at home before you head to the barn. Nothing in this will have you like on the floor, flat out on the floor or anything, because, barns are barns. What I want to start out with, first thing, and you can do this right up and down the barn aisle, as long as there's, nobody tacking up there or whatever, is do some walking lunges. Start with some walking lunges, and these are very simple. You take your lunge, and instead of going out and then back, just go out and bring your back leg forward. And, walk. Just do that up and down the barn aisle, depending on how long your barn aisle is, a few times, until you start to feel what that's going to do. Is it's going to get your heart rate up a little bit. It's going to warm up your muscles. It's going to get your blood flowing through so that things kind of warm up. And then once you do that, you're going to do, go ahead and feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. One hand on the ground as far as you can make it. You can, bend your knees. You don't have to have straight knees or anything. Bend your knees so that one hand is on the ground. Then take your other hand and point it up towards the sky as well as you can, and try to make sure that your butt's not moving, because what this is going to do, and the next exercise is going to reiterate it, what this is going to do is, one, it's going to show you how far in each direction. I can't go as far in this direction. How far your spine flexes, because what you need to do when you're on a horse is you're sitting there and you're going to move. You want to move your upper body independently of your lower body, and you need to have that flexion in your spine in order to be able to do that. So what this does, hand up, point it to the sky as high as you can without moving your butt. If you feel your butt moving, you're going too far. If you can't, you know, if you can only like go to here, that's as far as you can go. But hold that, go as far as you can, hold that for 5 to 10 seconds, and then switch over to the other side. And then hold that for 5 to 10 seconds, and then switch back again. And do that like 5 times in each direction. And you'll find that you'll be able to stretch further and further each time you do it. But again, the most important thing is to make sure that your hips aren't moving when you do that, because that kind of defeats the purpose of the exercise. So once you've done that, then you're gonna do more lunges, and you're gonna lunge forward and then twist your body over towards the forward leg and back. Twist, woo, balance. This is balance exercise. And it helps you to, again, move the upper and lower body independently of each other and get that flexion in the spine that you need when you're on the horse and you need to twist. You need to twist your upper body without anything going on in the lower body. And that helps separate the two. So once you've done that, last couple things, and this is the only part that's going to be like, if you're in the barn aisle or something, it's going to be a little awkward because you're going to be on your hands and knees. But, so on your hands and knees, again, the spine is so important in the equestrian sports, especially dressage, the one I do, so of course I'm a little biased towards that. But you want that flexion side to side. You also want it up and down, and this will make it easier to do things like, you know, sit the trot and stuff like that, because you want that dynamic stability. You don't want to be rigid. You want some flexion in your spine in order to be able to move with the horse. So on your hands and knees, you're going to be cat-cow. If any of you have done any yoga, this is a big yoga move, cat-cow. So belly down, breathe in, and then I like to start from the tailbone and kind of go up the spine as you round the spine, pull it, suck in the belly button. Suck's kind of probably the opposite words because you want to breathe out as you're doing this part of it. And then back. Up. And down. Up. And do that like 10, 15, 20 times, however long it takes for you to really start to feel a little looser in the spine. And since you're down here on the floor, this is a nice little exercise. I've been doing this one for quite some time now, and it has helped a ton in some hip pain I was having. In a certain position on the horse, if I lifted my leg off or had it on in a certain spot, I would get these sharp pains in through here. And this really simple little exercise has helped me a ton with that kind of pain. And so what all you're going to do is on all fours and try to keep even pressure in both hands. And you're just going to lift one knee off the ground. And you're going to do it in such a way that you feel like you're pulling from the back, and you want the sensation to be that you're putting the hip into the socket. And I know it sounds kind of funny, but I'll demonstrate. It's a really slight movement. All you're doing is lifting up one side while trying to keep everything else still. And you're kind of, like I said, the sensation is putting the hip bone into the socket. And this has helped. I do it 5 to 10 times on each side, and that has helped so much in my hip. What it does is it releases the psoas muscle, which is an inner hip pelvic muscle that's tight on a lot of people, and like I said, it's helped me tremendously. And the last thing, because the hip flexors are tight in just about everyone, but also in equestrians, just because of the nature of the sport and how we're sitting on the horse. Get into a runner's lunge. So your runner's lunge position. As I kick my rower here. Knee down, foot down, and you're just gonna forward until you feel a nice stretch right in here. Hold it 5 to 10 seconds, release, pull back, and then push forward again. 5 to 10 seconds. This isn't a quick bouncing. This is a steady pressure for 5 to 10 seconds. Release it. Go back again. And again, you will find that you will be able to go further and further forward each time. And don't push it, don't make it hurt, just enough that you feel that stretch. And then release. Do that again 5 to 10 times on each side. And after you do all of these exercises, should take 5 to 10 minutes. Like I said, do it at home before you go. It's ideally you would do it right when you get to the barn before you tack up, because then you're nice and warm. If you do it at home and then drive to the barn, then you've been sitting and you've cooled down again. Ideally, you do it right before getting on. But do what works for you. Doing it, at least doing it is better than nothing. So if you feel weird or awkward doing it at the barn, do it at home before you get there. And I think you will find that it will open things up. It'll give you, you'll be a little bit more limber in the saddle. You won't be as stiff. And you gotta take as good care of yourself as you do your horse, which I know is kind of a funny concept to a lot of equestrians. Like I said at the beginning, we take better care of our horses than we do ourselves. So I hope that this helps. I hope that you enjoyed it, and that, at least some of you equestrians can put this to use and helps you in your riding. And if you did enjoy it, please subscribe to my channel and share this video. You can also find me on Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram, where I have, a few different things that's different on each one. And I hope you all have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend, and I will be back on Sunday with a new nutrition video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.